Alright, we are on the play with RUG Delver. Ooh, this one's a doozy. We haven't had a hand like this yet, I don't think. We have, I'm gonna keep, we have a one-lander that has a blue source and Serum Visions, but it also has Mishra's Bauble, which creates a decent amount of upside. I don't think I've often kept 7s with one land and Visions. 6s with one land and Visions, I think, is an easy keep, assuming the land is a blue source. In this particular case, because we have the Bauble, I think we're clear to just slam Delver and use the Bauble as our card selection for now. It isn't quite as reliable at finding us our second land drop as Serum Visions is, but it also means we get to play this Delver of Secrets, which seems like pretty good upside. Let's cast that. And then on the opponent's turn, we're going to look at our card, yada yada yada. Do the Delver thing. If it's an instant or sorcery, we will reveal it and then draw it. If it isn't an instant or sorcery, we will draw it and then reveal whatever's underneath. Assuming whatever's underneath is an instant or sorcery. If it's not, you don't bother revealing. We'll just take a look and draw that eventually. Our opponent probably just didn't play a land on their first main. It's pretty easy to misclick online. Some Drudge hands actually do skip their first land drop if they have 7 and all they need is to discard. They'll draw, have 8 cards, and then just discard whatever. Here's a Heritage Druid, meaning we're playing against Elves. That's something I like casting Lightning Bolt on. Very much so. Heritage Druid is a pain. Let's look at our top card. Makes a lot of mana. It's nice that they already showed us the Overgrown Tomb, meaning that that's a land on top. Sweet. We're going to draw and then reveal, meaning Delver has to hit the stack first. Them showing us the Overgrown Tomb means that we now know ahead of time that they're on green-black elves, which runs black for Shaman of the Pack, which basically drains life, I believe, for the number of elves they control. I'm going to double check that. Shaman of the Pack. What did Delver show us? It's a Stomping Ground. We won't reveal that. I believe we want to hold up Spell Snare, just because I would like to interact with something the opponent is doing. I actually think we attack with Delver first and foremost, because if they let us trade, I'm going to be so ecstatic you would not believe. Yeah, there's no way any sane player is making that trade, but we'll give them the chance. I think I just want to fetch here, cast Visions, and then see where we go from there. I think I want a basic island instead of a breeding pool. I want to save some life here. We are probably going to be playing against a horde of elves very soon, especially if we don't hit a bolt effect. That wasn't a bolt effect. Simic Charm transforms Delver, but it also does kind of little against them. So we're just going to go to the end step here, hold up both of these counter spells. I don't know if either of them will be any good. I pulled up Shaman of the Pack. It is 1 black-green. It's a 3-drop. It is an Elf Shaman, 3/2. When Shaman of the Pack enters the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to the number of elves you control. So that's something we're going to have to keep in mind when we attack, block, and all that fun stuff. We're going to Spell Snare this, because otherwise Heritage Druid turns online. Dwynen's Elite is an elf itself. It makes another elf. Heritage Druid then has 3 elves that can tap, make green, 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 and our opponent will be off to the races. We don't want that. Is Xmage lagging? It looks like Xmage is lagging. We are in begin combat. For some reason, our clock is ticking down. Here we go. We're good. We are good. Xmage caught up. Good for you, Xmage. I'm proud. We'll take one. That seems fair. We got 1 damage in. They got 1 damage in. Did they fetch shock as well? They fetch shocked. But they didn't fetch a second time. Oh, we shock fetched. That's the deal. I was wondering how they were also at 16 and we were at 16. I figured we fetch shock fetched, but that's not what happened. We started off with the steam vents as our land. It's all coming back. If we could have a lightning bolt, that would be pretty fantastic. Tarfire. Same thing. Okay. How important is Stubborn Denial on this turn? It's not if we take out their Mana Dork. So, we're going to hit them for 3. And then we're going to take out their Heritage Druid and play a fatty. So, we have 2 options. We can Tarfire, Heritage Druid, pay red, shock for green. We want to shock for this regardlessly. We Tarfire this with the steam vents. Shock here, pay green, delve 5. Tarfire will be in the graveyard. We can delve 5. Mandrills for 1 mana, leave island up for Stubborn Denial. That's one option. Unfortunately, that reduces Goyf to a 2/3. Our other option is to not hold up Denial and just play Goyf for the 2 mana. I believe what we want to do is play the Goyf first because our opponent not having a... Xmage is bugging, but as soon as we do something, that'll go away. I believe we want to play the Goyf because our opponent only having 2 lands and no mana dorks means the opponent can't cast Collected Company. And if they cannot cast Collected Company, they can't do any good chords either. Lead the Stampede, I think, is the only non-creature spell we have to worry about when they only have 3 mana available. They had a very tame draw. I'm very happy that we found that Tarfire right in the nick of time. I believe it is Lead the Stampede. Lead the Stampede comes up when I type lead in. Here is an Elvish Archdruid, which is a pain, but we can probably run right over that. So I'm not exactly concerned. We'll Denial anything relevant, which is nice. Lead the Stampede is a 3 mana sorcery. It looks at the top 5 cards and they can put any number of creatures they see into their hand. We are on our upkeep. Xmage, why are you doing this, Xmage? Okay, well we can't risk giving up priority until our next turn while we're on our upkeep. Usually that gets Xmage going when you play with the stops a bit. Don't really want to do that on my upkeep because we're probably going to end up skipping our turn, so I'm opening another client on top. That'll probably do it. The second client caught up. We have the disconnected page. Yes, we do. I'll close this. We'll get caught up in a moment. And here we are on the good one. Oh, okay. Sorry, Xmage lagged, sir. We knock them down. They at 12 or 4? Not sure if they're at 12 or 13. We did 9, so they were at 13. Our opponent seems satisfied with the fact that Xmage lagged. So that's nice. What can we delve? Creature land in the opponent's graveyard, so if we want to play this Mandrills, we can safely delve the land and the Spell Snare. So Mandrills isn't coming down. Let's just play this Delver. I want to keep Goyf big. The opponent isn't doing a lot, And we have denial in case they have something like a company. So I'm not super afraid of whatever it is they're doing. Also, this Tarmogoyf hits like a truck. So they basically absolutely have to block it every single turn. Aberration's going to make short work of them. If this Delver transforms, it will also make short work of them. Playing the Mandrills means we pay 2. I may as well hold up the denial. So we pay 2, we would delve 4, leaving the Tarfire. Goyf becomes a 4/5. I guess that's okay, but I mean, we may as well have sorcery and artifact in the graveyard anyways. I'm pretty sure the opponent has to go pretty far to catch up in either case. I wonder if playing the Mandrills and giving up the artifact and the visions is better. Here's Lead the Stampede. We're going to counter that just because we can. Or do we let that resolve? They're just going to they're basically just drawing cards here. And they can play a land, tap Archdruid, they'll have 2 mana. That seems fine. I don't see how Lead the Stampede could possibly get them out of this. They revealed nothing. Okay. So we took game 1 quite handily. We were definitely fortunate. What do we want the deck to look like for game 2? Having more bolt effects seems nice. I could see EE being good. EE on 1 sounds devastating. EE on 3 can take care of the scary guys. Dismember could be good. I obviously like Pyroclasm. Huntmaster, I believe I normally board in, but I'm considering the fact that it might be slow. Is it Staticaster sounds fantastic. I don't really want Basilisk Collar, and I like boarding in Destructive Revelry, but not Ancient Grudge because Revelry plays well against artifacts and enchantments, and sometimes Elves boards in something like Choke. It's less likely for Revelry to be dead, while still giving you a bit of a not quite a catch-all, but it catches the hard stuff that most of our deck won't get. Boarding out the Thought Scours looks pretty simple. I don't mind cutting a counterspell here. Elves is pretty fast, so they're probably going to get on the board very quickly. Deprive seems like the one I would want to get rid of. Mana Leak could expire, because they do make a lot of mana quickly, but I think that's okay. Let's throw these on top of the baubles before we continue. I think I want to dump the Vapor Snag. It's not likely to be great. Gnarlwood Dryad seems pretty bad. We're not going to be doing a lot of blocking with it. Elves isn't quite to the Merfolk extent of being hard to block. I actually kind of want all of these. Basilisk Collar might even help keep us alive a little longer. Basilisk Collar would be fantastic with Staticaster and Huntmaster. That's probably the first thing we cut, though, if we don't have anything else we want to get rid of. I could see dumping one of these Traverses. Maybe a Denial. Spell Snare doesn't seem bad. Simic Charm could go. That's really about it. So it looks like Basilisk Collar is on the chopping block to get the last card out. I think I like that. Do I want this Spell Snare? I think so. We hit Dwynen's Elite, which was nice, that game. They also run Elvish Visionary, so it's not like they're particularly short on 2s. So I do think Spell Snare is a fine include. Especially being on the draw, it seems nice. I kind of want that Basilisk Collar in the deck, but if we don't have something to abuse it, it's probably doing very little. So I guess it's fine to not have it. This is the kind of one-lander we don't keep. Although I do like Lightning Bolt and Pyroclasm, that's for sure. If I could give up a Huntmaster, Staticaster, or even Goyf for a second land, I would be ecstatic. Unfortunately, we might be mulling to Oblivion here. I don't think that first hand was a good keep. This one obviously isn't, even though Bauble could theoretically be a land. I don't like it. We do have the Scry, which is certainly relevant. If this was a Gataxian Probe, maybe I'm slightly more likely to keep, but even then I don't think I like it. Our opponent's mulling to 5-2, so that's good. This is a good keep. That's what I'm talking about. I like that we both mulled pretty far there. That's nice. A good bit of symmetry doesn't hurt. So we're going to be bolting to slow them down. Huntmaster hopefully puts in plenty of work. Geez, they're mulling to 4. That's rough. That is very rough. This match might be over soon. Actually, given what our hand is, this match will be over in a while. We're not fast at all here. We probably close the game on like turn 7 at the earliest, I'm guessing. Yeah, our opponent is understandably not happy with how that went. They mulled to 2, so that's rough. They kept. Scryed 1. Staticaster isn't something I want, so we're going to bottom it. We have nothing to do on their turn, so we'll just leave it for them. No point in having priority. We probably bolt whatever mana dork they have, because that's likely their best way of getting back into the game. By accelerating. This can get a Steam Vents, which seems pretty fine. Then again, we could just get an island off of it, but if I do want to cast the bolt on their turn, seems like a fine thing to do. Turn 3 Nux, turn 4 Huntmaster. We do seem to be in very good shape. If our opponent started with 6 or more cards in hand, I might be a little worried. As is, I don't think we're in trouble. Let's grab ourselves a Steam Vents. Get into play tapped. At this point with our opponent hitting land drops, I actually don't think I would bolt any mana dorks. So far they have 2 lands and 1 card that may or may not be a land. So I think we just save bolt for actual threats. We can hold up snare or bolt. I think we're going to play this tapped and just conserve our life total. I find it very unlikely we need bolt and spell snare on this particular turn, so we may as well just not take the 2 damage. Every shock we don't have to take here basically makes it that much harder for our opponent to get back into the game. Really, in this kind of situation, I'm just going to play to our opponent's outs. So I'm going to make it as unlikely for them to get back into it as possible without actually going for... We don't need to be... Well, I mean, when the opponent mulligans really hard, being very proactive is good because you close the game before they can draw out of it. But at the same time, if we just hang around and shut down whatever plays while being conservative, we're probably in a great spot. I'm going to fetch and get a basic island here. We have all the colors we could possibly want. Steam Vent, Stomping Ground, Island Forest, 2 of each color off of 4 lands. It's actually my preferred lands when we have precisely 4 of them out. So that's nice. Let's play Nux. We're going to put down the shields for a turn because Nux is a 5-turn clock. And really, we probably want to start clocking them. It would have been nice if we had a turn 1 Delver or a turn 2 Goyf to just get this game closed out, but Nux will do. Nux will do. They haven't been playing lands, which means at least 2 of their cards are non-lands, possibly companies, something like that. Here's another Palace. So they either don't have any 3-drops they want to play or they don't have any elves to reveal. Do we play Huntmaster or just hold up all the interaction we could possibly want? How much does Huntmaster speed the clock up? Probably a lot. And we can go Bolt, Bolt, Spell Snare on the following turn. I think we just slam Huntmaster. I don't think we have any reason to be worried at this point. We're just going to try to speed this up and close the game out before this has to drag on any longer. Our opponent did get quite unlucky. Mulling to 2 hurts quite a bit. I think I've done it once. It wasn't fun. It was not fun. Xmage is waiting on us again. Let's play with the stops. Okay, well, we're going to open another client. Hopefully that'll work. I don't really want to prolong this particular match at all if we can help it. And let's just close that one. On this one here, we can see that the opponent must have scooped. So, well, I guess them's the breaks. Regardlessly, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.